guys, the Delica Mini review, pretty good. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Today I thought I would give you a driving review of the Delica Mini. So last time we looked around the outside, the inside of the Delica, but I thought I would kind of give you a driving impression of what the Delica feels like really. So yeah, let's get to it. So we are just some random place in Toyama, and yeah, let's get driving. So immediately the first thing is the steering is super light, really nice for a kind of a town car like this. I'm pretty sure it's electric assisted. Yeah, but that just makes it super light. It's so easy to maneuver. It's really nice. So it's got good visibility, kind of really big windows all the way around. Makes it super easy to see everything. I guess one slight gripe I would have is maybe this. I don't know if this is the A and this is the B pillar, or this is the B or this is the A, and I don't really know how it works because of that window in there. But this would be nice if it was just a little bit slimmer, because sometimes I do find myself just kind of leaning backwards or forwards just to kind of see past that pillar. But there's a nice big window kind of halfway between this window and the windscreen, so you know there's plenty of room to actually see. But sometimes I do just find that might be a slight blind spot. It's a hybrid 3-cylinder 660 with a turbo. It has auto start stop, which is what's happened now. The engine has stopped. It also has this really cool feature, which is kind of a coasting stop. So as you're pulling up to a junction, as you're braking to stop, it will actually cut the engine before you're actually fully stopped. I guess it just saves that little bit more extra fuel, which is good. You know, I'm all for saving fuel for economy and that, but I do find, because you've not got the engine running, how do I say this? So generally when you're driving, when you're braking, you do have some kind of resistance. Obviously you're slowing the car down, but you're also kind of braking against the engine essentially. And I do find once it cuts the engine, the brakes become just that little bit more sharper, because you're not having to brake the engine as well as the car wheels. So I do find it took a little bit of getting used to for that, because I found myself just suddenly kind of stopping a lot quicker than I would be used to. So let's see if we can get it to do it now. So it stopped now, but we are still moving. And again, if you let your foot off slightly, it will restart, which is good. But yeah, just getting used to that, it's not an issue, it's just something you have to get used to. One nice feature as well, I've now got my feet off the pedal. Being in auto, normally you would sit, you know, with your foot on the pedal there, but this has an auto hold button. So basically when you come to a stop, you can actually ask the car to hold the brakes as if you've got the handbrake on. As if you were in a manual, you'd put it into neutral, put your handbrake on. This kind of is, I guess, copying that in what it does. It's nice and quiet. You know, when you do put your foot down, it is kind of a little bit revvy, as with all kind of 3-cylinder 660 jobs, but it still moves. It moves fairly well. You know, I really can't complain. Considering the size of the car, the size of the engine, I think the performance is plenty, really. So the seats are nice and comfortable. Yeah, one thing I would say, I don't know if K cars are really designed to be long distance cars, or whether they are strictly supposed to kind of be city cars, But the one thing I would say is it would be nice for just a little bit more adjustment, certainly on the driver's seat. I would really like some kind of lumbar adjustment. Certainly on previous cars I've owned, they've had lumbar adjustments, and yeah, that makes all the difference, especially on a long journey. But you know, again, you have to factor in the price of the car. K cars are generally cheaper than, you know, full-sized cars, so I guess you have to factor that cost in. But that would be nice. That would be maybe something as an optional extra maybe that they could offer. But as I said, generally the seats are comfortable enough. Yeah, you know, it's not a luxury car, I guess, so you know, you get what you get. The ride is good. I would say it's a little bit more firm than I would have expected. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know if it's supposed to be firm because it's made to feel a little bit more sporty, or whether it's firm just because, you know, to keep the handling of the car. But it could be softer, but I am perhaps basing my opinion too much on previous cars. So before I moved to Japan, I had a Discovery 4, which obviously has air suspension, so that kind of spoils any coil suspension after, you know, if you've driven a car with air suspension, you will totally understand what I mean. Air suspension just really ruins your opinion on all other kinds of suspension, because it's just so soft and so like riding on a cushion, really is. But yeah, you know, but again, I can't really complain. It is comfortable enough, but I just find sometimes it's a little bit too firm. Brakes are good. I definitely can't complain about the brakes. The one thing I do notice though is having such skinny tires, especially in the wet, it is quite easy to get the ABS to engage, especially if you're on kind of like a really smooth tarmac that doesn't have a lot of kind of grip when wet. But yeah, it's okay though. It's not, obviously it's not unsafe, but it's just something to bear in mind that if you really do stamp on the brakes, you can get the ABS to kick in quite easily. We'll give it a little pull, obviously up to the speed limit. So here we go. So yeah, you know, it's quite nippy, very revvy and loud. But yeah, it definitely pulls. It doesn't kind of leave you struggling to kind of get up and go. I don't know the performance compared with the non-turbo version. I believe they have similar horsepower, but I think the turbo version has more torque. So I think where you would definitely notice that is in the hilly areas, going up the hills. Having that turbo, I think, would be a real, you know, godsend to help you pull yourself up the hills. It is a CVT transmission, so it kind of doesn't change gears. I guess it just slips the belts until it reaches the speed that it wants to be at, I guess. So we'll take it off-road slightly. Not that it's going to test the four-wheel drive system in any way. You know, it's a firm base. It's nice because it has got plenty of ground clearance on here. So this is quite a popular fishing spot. So just going over these kind of pebbly, stony things, you can really feel, you know, it is quite bumpy. And this is where I think it maybe is just a little bit too stiff. But at the end of the day, it's not designed to be a four-wheel drive off-roading truck. It's you know, it's a city car, and it's four-wheel drive because of the Toyama winters, which are obviously covered in snow. So let's get going again. Yet the steering is super light, cannot complain about that. It's a very, very easy car to drive. You know, one of the best things to add is the K-car size. It's just so easy to maneuver around a city, you know, where parking spots can be tight, or, you know, just the roads are generally maybe a little bit narrow. Another pull. You know, it gets up to speed pretty quick. I can't complain. You know, it's no sports car, but yeah, it's good. One of the other features is, of course, the adaptive cruise control. You can stick down now, you know, and it will keep the speed you've set. If the car in front is slowing down, it will slow down for you until the total stop. Once it has stopped, it does require you to, as the car pulls away in front, it will require you to acknowledge that you want to start moving. You just press the button, or you can tap the accelerator, and then it will kind of follow the car in front as it pulls away back up to the speed that you've set the limit at. So yeah, going back to the size and the maneuverability, because the wheels are pretty much at the corners of the car, you know, where the bonnet drops off, that is kind of the end of the wheel. So getting yourself parked into, you know, tight positions is really easy, especially with this. We have 360 cameras. It just makes, you know, parking such a breeze. Cancel or it is already braking because it's seen the car in front pull away, and now the car in front has gone, so it's going to accelerate back up to the set speed. But we are going to drop that speed because the speed limit has dropped. So yeah, it's a really comfortable car. I do recommend it. I just think the outside also looks really rugged compared to some of the other K cars, and that's another one of the reasons I chose this. Is, you know, I like the rugged looking cars coming, you know, from a lot of Land Rovers that I've owned. I really like that kind of utilitarian off-roady look. So for me, the Delica Mini it just had that look and feel about it. It was, you know, really nice. This is one of the things I do like about Japan, is the traffic lights for the roadworks actually have a countdown timer, so you know exactly when the light is going to change to allow you to go. I was going to say you know when the light's going to change to green, but interestingly, I don't know why, but Japan has chosen blue as the roadwork traffic light to go. I'm sure there's a reason, I just don't know what it is. So here we are, the lights are red, so the car in front is now braking. I'm not on the brakes, of course hovering just in case, but the car is slowing down. We haven't come to a full stop, so as the car pulls away again in front, my car will also pull away and match back up to the speed, or my speed limit that I've set, or the speed of the car in front. red light, car in front is now slowing. I'm now slowing down. So we will come to a full stop. Like this. Full stop. I haven't touched the brakes. This is the car totally doing it itself. Now, as I said, as the car pulls away in front, I need to confirm that I do want to start moving again, because I've come to a full stop. So I can either press the accelerator or press this resume button, and it will pull away using the adaptive cruise control again. But yeah, handling wise, it's, you know, it's good. It goes where you want it to go. I'll probably do another review once the once the snow comes, because I'd be interested to see how it performs in the snow with the four-wheel drive. I haven't really been able to test the four-wheel drive in anger because, you know, it's dry and there's no way to really test it. So it'll be interesting once it does start snowing. It'll be interesting to see, you know, the performance of that. Slight pull up the hill. The engine doesn't struggle at all. It's not even kind of increased the speed or anything to keep the torque up, so that's nice. You know, we're doing 2,250 RPM ish, and you know, it's more than comfortable doing that. Possibly that's where the turbo helps. Of course, there are a lot of hills and mountains in Japan, so being an auto, you don't really get that engine braking feel, especially being CVT. But because it's hybrid, the cool thing is that when you do go down the hill, it will start regen of the battery for the hybrid system, so that gives you kind of a synthesized engine braking feel, I guess you could say. So that's really nice, so you don't find it kind of runs away from you going downhill, which, yeah, that's a nice feature. Anyway, here we are at a Lawson. I'm going to get some lunch. Yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed this kind of driving review of the Mitsubishi Delica Mini. I hope it's been, you know, insightful for you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching to the end if you've made it this far. Yeah, I've got some more videos planned. I'm just working on getting them made and recording some stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See you later.